I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble night. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. Listen, it's y'all shorty Rachel. Let me welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast. All right. I just want to to touch on something real quick. I don't even think I'm gonna be long tonight. All right. Shout out to the answer. All right, for bringing men's mental health. He did it his own little way. I mean, listen. I gotta give him a shout out. All right, so shout out and listen. More and more men are starting to speak on this. All right. Shout out to the men that are reclaiming. All right, they power and stuff like that. And with that being said, all right, let me turn this camera off. All right, let's talk about this real quick. Men's mental health. All right. Listen, when silence becomes harm, men, right? Therapy and early intervention is the topic. All right. Shout out to my day one subscribers, my new subscribers, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all the ones that leave a comment. All right, like and share the videos. I appreciate those that come up. All right, and have conversations with a shorty and much more. But with that being said, listen. All right, we talk about women's pain like it's a podcast genre. Childhood trauma, relationship wounds, all right, family dysfunction. We got chapters, we got language, we got therapy. But when it comes to men, all right, silence, shrug. He'll figure it out. Nah. All right, he won't. He'll bottle it. All right, bleed it into his kids, his partners, his job, his health. All right, and we'll call it strength. That's not strength. That's emotional pollution. All right. A woman and a little boy will say yes to therapy before a grown man even admits he's hurting. That's the problem. All right. That's the cycle that, how can I say? That's silence. All right. We're not just talking mental health. All right. We're talking about emotional CPR. We're talking about early intervention. We're talking about breaking, how can I say? We're talking breaking the man up, all right? Curse and replacing it with, how can I say, heal up, all right? Because if we don't help our men get up, how can I say, get help early, we're just building legacies of pain with better packaging. And how can I say, a lot of us are just done with that. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Blessings, Mr. Oates, Mr. Oates, how you doing? I heard you up there on the answers panel, man. Shout out to you. Blessings, yo. I'm just on here. I didn't get a chance to hop on his panel. So, I'm just, giving my little input on this. Those of y'all that know me know this not my first time bringing awareness, all right, to men's mental health and stuff like that, all right? So, I appreciate blessings, Rosa Mercado. How you doing today? But shout out to Mr. Old. Shout out to Answer for having mental health panel today. All right. Now, back on topic, all right? Listen, we know what women go through. We name it, we narrate it, we normalize healing, all right? Listen, childhood trauma, we unpack it. Relationship wounds, we dissect them. How can I say, family dysfunction, we turn it into legacy work. Women and kids are stepping into therapy like it's a lifeline. And it is. But where are the men, right? Why is it that a woman and a little boy will say yes to therapy before a teenage boy or a grown man even admits that he's hurting? That's not just, a statistic. That's cultural, all right, indictment. Men are taught to, how can I say it? Men are taught to man up, not to open up. They're told vulnerability is weakness, that emotions are liability. So how can I say, they bottle it, right? They bleed into their relationships, their parenting, their health, their silence, and we call it strength once again. But that's not strength, all right? Like I just said earlier, it's emotional pollution. It's inherited pain disguised as pride, all right? how can I say this? Hmm. All right, let me be clear. All right, that silence didn't start with them. It's ancestral. All right, it's generational. It's the echo of grandfathers who came home from war and never spoke again. Fathers who worked 3 jobs and swallowed every emotion to survive. Uncles who drank their grief. Brothers who fought their sadness. Sons who learned early that tears were dangerous. All right, we carry their silence in our bones, but we don't have to pass it down. This isn't just about mental health, all right? It's about ancestral healing. It's about breaking curses, not just cycles. It's about honoring our ancestors by doing what they couldn't, all right? Speaking, feeling, healing. Because if we don't help our men heal, we're not protecting our families. We're prolonging the pain. Therapy isn't betrayal, all right? It's liberation. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's ancestral rebellion. And healing isn't soft, it's sacred. All right. So, right, like when I said earlier, a woman and a little boy will say yes to therapy before a grown man even admits he's hurting. That's not strength, all right? I want to put out there it's emotional pollution passed down like a family heirloom. All right. And don't get it twisted. It's vice versa. Women go through it too. All right. Don't get it twisted. But like I said earlier, all right, it is so much easier for a woman to get help. And I'm not saying that all women take the help. All right. That's why, some women continue continue with the trauma. All right. But if y'all want to go with the statistics, right, since we're live, we're going to get into that a little bit. All right. But just give me a minute to, get out what I want, got to get out real quick. All right. Off, from straight from a shorty's thoughts. All right. Straight from my mind. All right. Into my, like out of my chest and into the mic to y'all. All right. And as I keep talking, y'all going to understand, all right, little by little, what I am trying to say and put out there. And this is going to reach who it has to reach. All right. Listen. Our grandfathers came home from war and never spoke again. Our fathers, all right. I mean, for those of y'all, they have fathers, and we're talking about the past, all right. Swallowed their pain to survive. Our brothers learned early that tears were dangerous. That silence didn't start with them. It was passed down like a family or heirloom, all right. This silence is generational. It's not just personal, all right. It's this. How can I say? It's systemic. It's the emotional debt inherited by men who were never taught how to feel, only how to function. And we're done pretending that silence is strength. It's time to name it, challenge it, and break it. All right. Let me let me just put it like this. All right. Strength isn't how much you carry. All right. It's how much you're willing to unpack. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's ancestral rebellion. All right. We're rewriting the definition of masculinity. No more emotional constipation, all right? Like no more pride and pain, strength in the healing, all right? It's in the therapy, the hard conversations, the tears that were never allowed, all right? We're not asking men to be soft. We're asking them to be whole. We're not asking y'all to be soft. We're asking y'all to be whole. All right. And for those men out there that think, all women are the same, no. All right. The same way that a lot of us women, all right, had to learn that not all men are the same. A lot of men out here have yet to still learn that not all women are the same. Okay. And it's crazy, right? Because we carry the silence in our bones. But we don't have to pass it down. Healing is how we honor them. All right. Therapy is how we write the story. All right. Let me put it like this. You could take therapy. Therapy doesn't mean you have to go see a therapist. All right. You could confide in someone. I mean, and I know that in this day and era it's hard. Listen. I know that in this day and era it's hard to confide in somebody, but you need some type of support system. This is what's told a lot to women, all right, especially with kids. It's told a lot to kids. It's told a lot to, domestic violence. Listen, all right, we can go about this, and I'm not saying that it's the whole conversation that they're having. All right, I'm just putting a little bit in there, all right, so that y'all can understand where I'm coming from, because I don't want to throw nobody off. I really don't. All right, like Blessings to everybody in the chat. Like we need to start. Like, listen, the best way, all right, to heal is by reclaiming. And people think that by reclaiming is you got to go out here and fight, pick up a pistol. You see where I'm coming from? Nah, man, it ain't like that. Reclaim, use your voice. We all got a voice. It's on how we come about certain things. You see where I'm coming from? We all got a voice. Speak up. All right, just because you're a man doesn't mean that you can't speak up. And like I said, it's not come out here and be a whole, little fairy like the bull that was out there. Listen, listen. Oh shit! I almost spilled my soda. Listen. What I'm trying to say is, all right, reclaim. All right, reclaim. It don't matter what you've been through. All right, reclaiming what you think you've lost, what you've already had within you the whole time. All right, is how you get what how where you get to where you need to be, where you make a difference. That's when you start making a difference. All right, we need to start taking accountability with a lot of shit. Admit when we're wrong. All right, not just the women but the men too. All right, and it's crazy that we think that this is something new. All boys are just taught to be tough, not to cry. No, man, this is something that's been passed down through generations. Okay, I want y'all to really understand that before we start coming at all these men. But what about the women? We get that. We've talked about that. We've heard about the women. All right. We know ways on how to help women. We know a lot of the reasons why women don't want the help. All right. But now let's get to the men. It's time to start helping them heal too. All right. And a lot of people's not going to like what I'm saying. All right. And I'm not trying to separate it. We all go through mental health. We really do. All right. And this is coming maybe because I'm a mother. All right. I mean, I'm not just a mother of a daughter. I'm a mother of two boys. All right. This is coming from within. All right. Conversations that I don't just have, here with y'all. These are conversations that I have out here. All right. With my sons. All right. With their little friends when they outside in a group and they got questions. And I'm saying like, damn, what's crazy? All right. They taught us how to share everything except for the pain. All right. And for the men, it's just a little, worse out there. And it's crazy. Yeah. More men are starting to speak up now in 2025. And that's what we got to keep doing. We got to keep having these conversations. All right. So that a lot of them could figure out how, all right, in their own way, they could reclaim, all right, what was already theirs. Oh, I don't got my link tonight, Mr. Oates. I'm gonna go live tomorrow because I'm gonna speak about. I don't got the link tonight. I just wanted to speak about this real quick, right? Listen, I got a lot to put out there. I got words live on replay right here, right on the headphones. So I'm kind of like catching up. And as I'm listening, I'm also talking to y'all. All right. I'm just, putting everything out there. Because listen, I talk about this a lot. And a lot of, listen, we got a lot of programs out here for little kids, for women, especially the women that go through a lot of stuff. But it's crazy that a man, all right, a man won't receive help until the last minute. All right. Until it's really, really late. And that's the crazy part. All right. And I'm not saying all men. All right. I'm just saying a lot of men, a lot. Right? And there's the ones that just don't give a fuck. All right? But saying that, right? Like I was telling y'all, like, listen, both of us, men and women, carry that silence in our bones. Listen, this is legacy work. This is how we break curses. We're not just healing ourselves. All right? We're healing for the ancestors who couldn't. For the sons who are, how can I say, watching, for the families who are building, all right? The legacy we reclaim is the one of truth, emotion, and transformation, all right? Like, some people just need to really wake up and smell the coffee. I'm not going to sit here and lie, all right? Listen, silence is something that we inherit. We didn't choose silence, we inherited. Our ancestors didn't have therapy. They had survival. They had war, all right, migration, poverty, systemic oppression. They had to keep moving, keep working, keep breathing. They didn't have time to cry, space to reflect, or language for healing. So they passed down what they could: grit, hustle, and silence. But silence isn't neutral. It's heavy, it's loud, it echoes through generations, it shows up. All right. In the fathers who never says, how can I say I love you? In the uncles who drinks instead of talks, in the brothers who explode instead, how can I say, of expresses, in the son who learns early that emotions are dangerous. All right. And this is not to bring nobody down. This is not to bash. I know some people might take this like, oh, wait a minute. Like it, pay attention to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. All right. We inherited silence like it's a family recipe. All right. It's a vice versa thing, passed down, perfected, and protected, but we're not obligated to keep cooking with it. All right. A lot of our ancestors didn't just sacrifice themselves for nothing. All right. They figured out so many things. All right. For the, it says, those that screamed out what they could do did it. Those that knew that, they instead of fighting and arguing and killing, they knew they had to pass down a blueprint. And how they had to do that, they used strategy. All right. A lot of this stuff that, the ancestors passed on down was not in these books. A lot of this that we're supposed to know, all right, on how to overcome, figure out that everything's inside of us, the answers that we're seeking, all right, that right there, the respect, the morals, the dignity, all that shit, all right, my bad that I said it like that, all right, it's something that's passed on down by word of mouth. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. And oh, she's young. She don't know what the fuck, man. I don't give a fuck how young I am. I paid attention when they talked to me. And what's crazy is that sometimes at that moment, I couldn't understand half the messages that were given to me. But now, as I got older, observing, watching, I understood what they was trying to tell me. But people, that what I just said is gonna go over a lot of people's head. All right. This segment is about naming the silence, not shaming it, not erasing it, but understanding it. Because when we understand the silence we inherit, we can choose something different. We can choose language. We can choose therapy. We can choose healing. We are the generation that breaks the hush, that turns emotional survival into emotional strategy. All right. That honors our ancestors by doing what they couldn't, all right, feel, speak, and heal. They told us what to do, how to do it, but we not paying attention. And somewhere along the line, the blueprint got cut off. Some of us got the message, others didn't. All right. The strength is what we need, what we redefined. All right. Strength, how can I say strength used to mean silence, all right? It used to mean swallow pain, hiding tears, and pretending everything was fine. It meant being the rock, the provider, the protector, even if it meant self-destruction. But we are redefining strength. Strength is not how much you can carry, it's how much you're willing to unpack. It's not how long you can hold your breath, it's how boldly you exhale. It's how well you hide. All right? It's how bravely you show up. This segment is about dismantling the myth of, how can I say, stoic masculinity, about calling out the emotional constipation that's been branded as manhood, about saying enough. We're not asking men to be soft, we're asking them to be whole, to be, how can I say, emotionally literate, all right, to be self-aware, to be brave enough to say, all right, when they need it, I need help. When they hurting, all right, speak to the right person, but sometimes, they end up speaking to the wrong one, and it's not their fault, all right? Because just like women, sometimes they feel like they could trust this person, but this person betrays them. And it happens. But that's just another lesson in life, all right? Some of us think that it breaks us, but in reality, that's just a lesson taught. It's supposed to be, instead of breaking you, it's supposed to be making you, all right? You need to tell yourself, I want to heal. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask, is this the person you want to keep looking at? Is this the person, that you are? Is this who you want to be? Do you like the person talking back to you? You like the person staring back at you? Listen, redefining strength means making therapy masculine, all right? Making vulnerability powerful and making healing heroic. Because the strongest thing a man can do is break the cycle. And the most revolutionary thing he can say is, I feel. All right? Like, legacy is what we reclaim. Legacy isn't just what we have, how can I say, what we leave behind. It's what we carry forward. We've inherited trauma, silence, and survival strategies, but we've also inherited resilience, wisdom, and the power to choose differently. This segment is about reclaiming legacy, not just for ourselves, but for our children, our communities, our movements. We're not just healing for us, we're healing for the ancestors who couldn't, for the sons who are watching, for the daughters who deserve emotionally present fathers, for the families we're building, for the cycles we're breaking. Reclaiming legacy means turning pain into purpose. It means transforming silence into strategy. It means saying, I will not pass this down. It's about, how can I say, building emotional wealth, about making healing a family tradition, about, how can I say, turning therapy into a rite of passage, about making vulnerability a legacy move. Because the legacy we reclaim is one of truth, emotion, and transformation. All right. And it starts with us. Like, we were taught that tears were dangerous, that crying made you weak, dramatic, unstable, especially if you were a man, right? Especially, listen, especially a little boy turning into a man. I mean, like that's right there. You're at this age right now. Soak them tears up. You're not allowed to cry. You can't cry. That just makes you weak. Right? Like, they cry in school, they get bullied by the kids. At home, they get, I mean, listen, and I'm not saying every kid goes through that situation either. All right? That is not what I'm saying. And me speaking and saying this, I shouldn't even have to keep saying this. But we know that what I'm saying is going to go over a few people's heads, okay? That's crazy. And that's what's crazy. Like I said, they told you that crying made you weak, dramatic, and unstable, especially if you were, a little boy turning into a man. All right? Especially if you were raised in survival mode. But tears are data. They're emotional truth. They're the body, they're the body's way of saying, I'm carrying too much. And when we shame tears, we shame truth. We shame healing. We shame humanity. This segment is about normalizing tears, not just for women and children, but for men, for elders, for survivors. It's about breaking the emotional, how can I say, caste system, all right, that says some people get to feel and others just have to endure. All right. We normalize tears by modeling them, by showing up raw, by letting grief breathe, by letting anger cry, by, letting joy overflow. We normalize tears by refusing to flinch when someone breaks down, by saying you're not broken, you're broke. Because every tear we normalize is one less trauma we pass down, one less explosion, all right? One less silent diner. I mean, my bad, dinner. What the fuck I said diner for? I need to get my shit together. Like, one less emotionally constipated generation, all right? Because that's what it's feeling like. This generation, man, shit. Listen, man, I'm gonna put it like this: tears are not weakness, all right? They're release, they're resistance, and they're sacred. Healing isn't just personal, all right? It's performative. Like, I'm gonna put it like this: it's not just personal, right? Performative, but not performative like fake, all right? Performative like visible, like contagious, like revolutionary. All right. We've made healing, how can I say, we model healing when we go to therapy and talk about it, right? When we set boundaries and explain why, right? When we apologize and mean it. When we cry in front of our kids and show them it's safe, when we say, I used to be like that, but I'm working on it. I mean, I don't know if y'all understand where I'm coming from, right? But listen, we model healing when we stop hiding our growth, when we stop whispering our when we stop whispering our breakthroughs, right? When we stop treating emotional evolution like a secret. This segment is about making healing public, not for clout, but for culture. Because if we don't model healing, people won't know it's possible. All right, they think survival is the only option. They think silence is strength. They'll think therapy is betrayal. And I've heard a lot of people say that. That's crazy. All right, we model healing by being the blueprint, by being the ancestor who chose differently, all right? By being the parent who breaks the curse, by, how can I say, by being the friend who says, let's talk about it. People think that, oh, therapy means you got to go straight to a therapist. You know that the best therapy is having someone next to you that understands who you are and where you're coming from, why you reacted the way you reacted, being able to, feel comfortable enough to say the things that, you feel inside without being shamed and bashed. All right. So healing isn't soft, it's strategic. It's legacy work. It's how we build movements that last longer than pain. So listen, society has long conditioned men to equate, all right, emotional suppression with strength. From childhood boys, all right, from childhood, boys are told to man up, stop crying, and be tough. These messages became internalized, how can I say, survival strategies. One that actively discourages emotional expression and vulnerability. But therapy requires vulnerability. It depends. It demands, all right, introspection, all right, honesty, and how can I say, openness. And for many men, that feels like a direct violation of the masculinity script they were handed. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, is there any men in the chat? Like, am I saying something out of order? Like, am I viewing this the wrong way? Have I been perceiving this the wrong way? Have I been listening wrong? All right. Because mind you, this is just, how I perceive things. All right. Based on what I've listened to. All right. From the stories of the men that I've heard, that are around me and the research that I've done. All right. So I don't know. Let us shorty know. Am I tripping with what I'm saying? Or am I close enough? All right. Because listen, according to a 2025 public, all right, how can I say? According to a 2025 public perception survey by the British Association for Counseling and Psychotherapy, all right, 40%, 47% of men believe there's a stigma around counseling or psychotherapy compared to 38% of women. Only 29% of men ever sought therapy, while 41% of women have. All right. A third of men think therapy is self indulgent unless the problem is severe, compared to just 17% of women. These numbers aren't just statistics, they're cultural red flags. They show how deeply stigma is embedded in male identity and how urgently we need to shift the narrative. All right. When men avoid therapy, right, they don't avoid pain. They just, how can I say, reroute it. It shows up in anger, addiction, isolation, and strained relationships. Just like females, right? But guess what? We talk about more about what the females go through and we find solutions, right, to bring to the table. But we're the men. When it comes to them, can we bring any solutions? Can we bring any programs besides just therapy like we do for the women? All right. Like it bleeds into parenting, partnerships, and workplaces. And tragically, it contributes to the fact that three times as many men die by suicide as men, with men aged from 40 to 49 having the highest rates. All right. This is worldwide. We need to redefine what strength looks like. Therapy isn't self-indulgent, it's self-respect. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And healing isn't optional, it's legacy work. This isn't just about awareness, it's about modeling new norms and about showing men that therapy is a tool, not a threat. That emotional literacy is power. That healing is heroic, all right? Like, we teach boys to swallow until swallowing becomes habit. All right? That habit hardens into a default. Don't show, don't ask, don't heal. But tears are information. They map where the body and mind are taxed, where grief sits, where stress has, how can I say, calcified into risk. When nearly 1 in 10 men experience depression or anxiety and fewer than half get treatment. All right? Tears become a public health issue, not a private failing. This message is a, how can I say, this message is a cultural intervention. Normalize the tear as a message, not a scandal. Normalize the tear by making it visible, all right, ordinary, unspectacular, all right? A father wiping his face after telling his kid he's been in therapy, right? A coach acknowledging he cried at his mother's funeral. A coworker saying, "I'm not okay today," and being met with a hand, not a punchline. The goal is to replace hide and cope rituals, all right, with simple human responses, listening, staying, offering help. So the first response to a man's tear is safety, not shame, especially when this man is crying in front of someone that he really cares about, all right, his significant other, a sister, an auntie, someone that he considers a friend. All right, normalizing is tactical. We change norms by changing routines. All right, mention counseling in casual conversations the way you mentioned the dentist. Put mental health resources next to HR flyers about physical safety. Celebrate public figures, all right, who model breakdown and rebuild without spectacle. Normalize tears at home by letting children see adults express distress and repair. All right, you repair it. Normalize tears out loud. Tell stories about the first time you cried in front of someone and why that mattered. Because when tears stop being a liability in the culture, all right, ledger, more men will seek treatment before crisis do the talking. Too many men in coffins right now, all right, for whatever the reason is. So we have to find more resources and more help for our young boys, all right, before they turn into men. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, right? But pay attention to what I'm saying. Listen to my words, all right? And I want y'all to go out there and do your own research, all right? This is about prevention. Fewer emergencies, all right? Fewer emergency escalations, fewer untreated depressions, fewer relationships strained to, breaking, making crying a data point on the map to wellness, not evidence of failure. All right, treat tears as an early warning system we were never taught to use. All right, this is just a little food for thought for a lot of y'all. All right, like, listen, healing is not a private luxury; it's a civic duty. When men, how can I say, underutilized care, all right, with figures showing roughly 30% lower, all right, use a, how can I say, let me put it like this. When men don't take care about, they don't take care of their mental health, right? Figures showing roughly lower use, figures showing roughly 30% lower use a psychiatric and, all right, psychotherapeutic services than women, and only a fraction receiving treatment each year. All right, the community pays the cost in broken relationships. All right, lost productivity. My bad, I can never pronounce these words. All right, and generational transmissions of trauma. Modeling healing flips the cost equation. Visible repair reduces future harm. All right, modeling means doing the work publicly and practically. It looks like leaders, fathers, coaches, and neighbors naming a therapist, all right, on how can I say, yeah, a therapist on stage or in a conversation and explaining why. All right. It looks like companies offering time off for mental health. All right. For mental health checkups and managers sharing how therapy improved their leadership. It looks like, how can I say, it looks like ritualizing check-ins, all right? Not the macho. You good? With a shrug. But be real, all right? Be, how can I say, facts. I'm saying the right shit. I'm over here tripping like, what, right? What the hell is, no, I said it right. I thought I was saying this shit all this combobulated, yo. All right? Listen, men need to, how can I say, turn this into like a ritual, all right? Ritualizing check-ins, not, that macho bullshit that y'all be having. You good with a shrug, but a real held moment, all right? How are you sleeping? What's been heavy this week? And responding with options, all right? A referral, a paid session, a ride to an appointment, all right? Modeling also means turning the first therapy visit into, how can I say, a culturally accessible script. Provide language, all right? People can borrow. I'm trying therapy for X. If you want, I'll recommend someone, all right? Normalize small acts that, lower the activation energy. Buddy systems to go with someone to their first appointment. Community groups, all right? When men practice naming feelings in public storytelling about setbacks and progress rather than, how can I say, tidy triumph endpoints. Finally, modeling is, how can I say, intergenerational. Show children that recovery is a tool you inherit, not a flaw you hide. Teach boys that asking for help is a usable skill, like trying a shoe, all right, or filing taxes. When we model repair constantly, over time in public with humility, all right, we change what masculinity can look like. How do you think they've done it throughout the years? And now we got boys, all right, how can I say, going like this? Donald J. Trump, alright? You don't give us our food stamps, then I'm gonna have to consider to start robbing again. Like, not all of us women talk like that, alright? Like, it's crazy how they imitate us, alright? Like, it don't matter if we're dark or light. That's how we get imitated, yo. Like, it don't matter, yo, for real. Alright? But listen, we gotta do that, alright? And you know what's crazy? Like I was just saying, over time in public with humility, we change what masculinity can look like. Resilient, reflective, and relational. All right? Make healing visible, actionable, and ordinary. Turn the I did therapy or I did this, I'm healing moment from confession into, how can I say, instructions. When one man models repair, he lowers the threshold for his entire circle. When enough circles do it, the help seeking gap narrows, all right? And fewer men will wait until the worst day to care for their mental health. So, guys, listen, I don't even know how long I've been on this, John. I just really, wanted to bring awareness to that, all right? Because, a lot of men are starting to speak up, and I feel as though that a lot of us women, let them speak. You see where I'm coming from? All right, we gotta let them speak, let them, express their emotions and stuff like that. Like a lot of them are doing it by, storytelling, and that's a good thing. All right, because through the storytelling, all right, one of them, two of them, three of them might be able to help one of these young bulls. That's what matters. All right, one young boy at a time. One of them is going to pay attention. It's not going to hit everybody. All right, not every kid is going to listen. All right, that that's hitting that age 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. A lot of these men got a lot of stories, right? Just like us women got a lot of stories that we're putting out here, and we should let them express it. It's a vice versa thing, and I don't think The men that are trying to bring awareness right now into these situations right now are trying to be, petty. I think a lot of them are trying to get an understanding. The same way that we also try to get an understanding when the scripts are flipped. But I could be getting this wrong, all right? And I'm not gonna be on here long. If I would have opened the panel, I would have been on here longer. But those were just my thoughts of, listening to Answer, all right, and watching the live, all right. Shout out to the sheriff. She was on that John being funny as shit, all right. Her and Phoenix Rising. Shout out to Mr. Oates, all right. I was listening to Mr. Oates. I'm definitely gonna open the panel, all right. I wanted to do the live tomorrow. I might do it. I might do both. I'm gonna start the live off tomorrow with, the stud teacher, all right, who got fired for inappropriate comments towards these students, right? She lost 2 jobs and everything behind that shit. And then after I do that review and reaction, I'll open the panel up and we can start a conversation about men's mental health. So, if y'all willing, I'll set the live up tonight, and I'll do that drawing like around maybe like 4ish, 5 o'clock tomorrow on a Sunday. So I'll do that shit. I'll do that drawing around the evening. I'm trying to cut the cussing, but sometimes it's like, yeah. But guys, man, that's all the time that I got right now. I don't know who live. I'm about to go see who live. But I'm gonna get off this, gentlemen. I appreciate those that came through, showed a shorty support. Listen, if y'all enjoy that stream, double tap the screen for a shorty. All right, and listen, share the video. For those of y'all that catch the replay, leave y'all comments down below. Let us shorty know how you thinking, how you feel. All right, let's get the discussion started when it comes to this. All right, there's so many, shout out to the men that are starting, to speak up. All right, bring the topic up when it comes to men's mental health. All right. Like I said, the same way that us women was taught that that's the way to reclaim our voice, our power. All right, we got so much power in the palm of our hands. You see where I'm coming from? But when it comes to parenting, all right, whether we're together or separated, we have to do this hand in hand, and both sides have to heal. Heal that trauma. All right, like and what I'm trying to say is, as much as we speak, when it comes to the women and the kids, we need to start speaking about the men too. All right, and helping them try to find their own ways on how to heal their trauma too. All right. But with that being said, man, until next time, this y'all shorty Racheal. I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble evening. And we out.